Peace, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Money in the Ghetto. And you have the crying emojis. Listen, we'll get into the show here in a second, but let me, make my announcements first. So, first of all, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you go to dynastymirror.com. Also, make sure you go to oneafricaproperties.com as well. We are approaching 100K subscribers. Again, we are approaching 100K subscribers. Once we get to 100K, we have a special giveaway for a lucky subscriber. So I am looking forward to that. Today's topic, and I was reading I was on my Facebook page, on my timeline, and this article came across. And this is the issue I have with this article. Us as Black people in America, or Black people in general, we are giving white supremacy way too much power and credit. And I'm going to read this article and we're going to get into it. But I think it's just gotten out of hand in regards to blaming white supremacy for everything. Black man kills a black man in Chicago. Oh, it's white supremacy's fault. So I want to read this article. I'm going to give my thoughts on it, and then we'll take it from there. So this article is by Ed Garnes. How White Supremacy Killed Actor Michael K. Williams by Edward M. Garnes Jr. is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 international license. Okay. And it starts off with the quote, "People don't have any mercy. They tear you limb from limb in the name of love. Then when you're dead, when they've killed you by what they made you go through, they say you didn't have any character. They weep big, bitter tears, not for you, for themselves, because they've lost their toy." James Baldwin. Michael K. Williams' family, period. I don't care about checking our bloodlines or ancestry websites for specific quantification of family lineage. His work spoke to and for the African diaspora, a Black and sometimes blue people who are traversing this beguiling America, killing us for sport. He was not merely an actor. He was a spiritual trickster who received ancestral head nods and blessings from purple bag players hugging blocks before summoning each character. We felt Brother Michael K. on a bone-deep level. His charm, his hard-bottom shoe, sophistication could have him move from a straight-up gangster to an emotionally available man for all times. It makes sense now that he got his break as a dancer, because the way he made us swoon with every performance was Alvin Ailey-esque. So how do we get here? Him dead, maybe an overdose or other means. As we spent this day off from work clutching our cultural pearls, another talented star had gone to the upper room. I know this for sure. On hearing the news of his passing, white supremacy sipped an aged scotch with glee that it had indeed won another round. Brother Michael K. didn't just die of alleged drug use. He was slowly killed each minute of his existence by the demons of white supremacy. The supremacy inhibiting his chances of success caused him to internalize his pain with deafening silence and insisted he wear a mask that grinned and lied. As he frets and struts on Hollywood stages that never saw him, a Black on purpose kind of brother as fully human, respected scholar, Reverend Dr. Gregory Ellison captures the psyche dilemmas of Black men in an apt metaphor he calls being cut dead but still alive. For Reverend Dr. Ellison, each trauma Black men experience, like being gunned down by privileged cops at a playground, denied a home loan with excellent credit, accused of being a threat at a coffee shop, forced to show ID with every step on the white campus you are attending on full scholarship, becomes a cut or psychological wound that goes unhealed while still navigating the stressors of everyday living as a Black man. W.B. Du Bois summarized this classic psyche dilemma of being in but not of America. Shout out to Brandon. Thank you for the super chat. Being in but not of America, double consciousness. Sometimes we refer to it as code switching, but whatever the term, Black men face unique psyche challenges when confronting American demons that wreak havoc on their lived experience. So how was Brother Michael K cut dead but still alive? Every time this beautiful brother with their brilliant smile and African kissed skin was called ugly, every time casting director said he was too Black for a role. I want to stop right there. And guys, I've shared this story before. Back when I was in pursuit of the Hollywood dream, back when I was, trying to model, I would go to casting calls. And I remember when I first started going to casting calls, they were rejecting me. They were saying you were too big. I didn't have the sizes because I was fresh out of college. I played college football. My shoulders were huge. And they said I didn't have I couldn't fit the sizes. So I went and took it upon myself and I lost weight. So I then would go back to these same agencies. And the excuse now was, we have enough people that look like you. And it went over my head because I'm like, I know they're not saying what I think they're saying. So it went over my head. I did not want to accept it at first. And finally, I remember I went to Click Models in West Hollywood off of Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood. And they finally, so how it worked, right? You would go to these cattle calls or these model calls. The agencies had them once a week, like on a Wednesday. So you would go, you would have your portfolio, you'll present your portfolio. I don't know, not the agent, but the receptionist, I guess, will take the portfolio to the agents. And then that receptionist will come back out with your portfolio and basically give you your fate. Like, hey, look, tell you your fate. Either we like you or we don't. And for me, at first, it was, you didn't fit the sizes. You were too big. I said, okay, I'll go lose some weight. Then it was, we have enough people that look like you. When I would go back to these same, shut up, pardon my presence, agencies that rep white models, Dynast, you should have gone to Apple Bottoms. All right, brother, whatever. So I remember them telling me we have enough models that look like you. And I didn't want to accept it. Like, I knew what they meant, but I'm like, come on, it's 2000. And this was like 2008, 2007. I'm sorry, like this is between like 2007 to like 2010. And I didn't want to accept it because I'm like, man, look, I know we got a Black president and I know they're not saying what I think they're saying. Especially when we have a Black president. And I know these same white folks voted for Barack Obama. I know they did. So I know. I was like, I know that these white folks aren't saying what I think they're saying, especially when I know they voted for Barack Obama. So I went to this other agency, Click Models on Santa Monica Boulevard. And I remember going in. I gave them my book. The receptionist came out, took my book, went to the back. And finally I got the call back. So I went back. And so me and the lady, the agent, we hit it off. And the reason why we hit it off is because she went to the University of Georgia as well. So when I told her I went to the University of Georgia, we hit it off. And then she was like, you know what? You got a great look, but we have enough models that look like you. And I asked her, I was like, what do you mean by that? And she was straight up, we got enough black models. I was like, okay. And from then, from that point, I never went to another casting call. I was like, F Hollywood. I was already out of Hollywood. I said, forget it. It's just like I was telling people, Hollywood, like I tell people, Hollywood was the most racist industry I ever dealt with. And for the life of me, I don't understand how black actors and actresses could tolerate Hollywood. I just don't get it. I don't understand how black actors and actresses could tolerate the racism in Hollywood. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. How do you tolerate that stuff? So I ended up going back to corporate America. And even in corporate America, once they start acting funny in corporate America, guess what? I quit. I left my job. I said, you know what? I'm going to go out and do it on my own. I said, you know what? I'm going to go out and do it on my own and figure it out. But like I said, I never understood, just my small experience with Hollywood, how black actors and actresses could sit there and tolerate and deal with the racism in Hollywood and then defend it. So the point I'm trying to get to, right? If you're working a job, if you're in an industry that drives you to the point to where you're depressed, to where you start snorting substances, to the point where you start injecting narcotics, snorting narcotics, injecting substances into your own body, it's time for you to leave. It's time for you to have, and I want to watch my words carefully. Again, I want to watch my words carefully. Like, you have to keep your dignity. Like, if this institution called Hollywood or this institution called corporate America is driving you to the point where you want to snort booger sugar or inject heroin into your body, it is time for you to leave. There is no, I'm a cope, I'm gonna do the dope, I'm gonna do the dope so I could cope. No, it's time for you to go. I don't care how many bills you got to pay. I don't care if your mortgage is due. Yeah, man, it's integrity and self-respect. Like, I don't understand. And then you want to cry, Oscar's so white. And like, you want to protect this institution, this racist. Like I said, Hollywood was the most racist institution that I've ever experienced or dealt with. Yeah, your mental health is just way too important. Because at the end of the day, you could always get another house. At the end of the day, you could always get your lights cut back on if they get cut off. But once you snort that substance or you start injecting that dope into you, there's no coming back from that. Especially if you OD. There was we talked about it yesterday. The comedian was snorting some bad cocaine. He's gone. From my understanding, and we don't have the facts yet from what they're saying, Michael K. Williams battled drug addiction And they're saying a lot of it had to do with the pressures in Hollywood. Like, fam, it's not worth it. Again, it's not worth it. That's why when people start blaming white supremacy for everything, it's like it's a cop-out. It's a lack of accountability. Because white supremacy does not force you to show up to that Hollywood set every day. White supremacy does not force you to show up to your corporate job every day. They don't. White supremacy doesn't force you to pick up a gun and kill another black man. I'm sorry. It's in the cop out, and it's an excuse that a lot of us are using instead of just taking accountability. Like I said, with me, I left corporate America. I said, F Hollywood. I'm doing my own thing. I'm focusing on Africa. I'm building in Africa. Because I just don't understand the infatuation with Hollywood. I don't get it. I don't understand the infatuation with this racist industry. Yeah, I put the link in the chat room, Brandon. The link's in the chat room, Brandon. Just send him the link. I'll tell him to come on, and he could hop on and we could chop it up. But again, I never understood the infatuation with Hollywood. After experiencing the small experience I had with Hollywood, I said, nah, I'm going back to corporate America. Then once corporate America started acting funny, I said, you know what? I had enough confidence in myself in which I'm like, what I'm doing for my job, as far as the money I'm bringing into them, as far as increasing their bottom line. Shout out to Ben Bailey, everybody. Everyone in the chat room, me and Ben went to elementary school together, Calvary Christian School. Thank you. I was the #1 rep at my company, and I left. I was the #1 rep in my company at my sales job, and I left in the company. I left. The amount of energy and resources that I'm putting into making this company richer, I might as well just put that into myself. And I've shared this before. If I could do it again, and I was on this route, if I could do it again, I would have went to King Caron. I think his name is King Caron. I think that's the guy's name, the content creator. Do your own thing, straight to consumer. I mean, you have to understand, it's so archaic in 2021 for you to go to these racist casting directors, in which, as in the article, every time casting directors said he was too black for a role. In 2021, you are out of your effing mind to subject yourself to that type of treatment, in which you're still going to casting directors in which they will tell you too ugly or too black. Oh, we got enough people that look like you. Sorry. You, with the internet, with smartphones, you should not be subjecting yourself to this type of behavior or this type of treatment. Yeah, I wasn't engaged. Money in the ghetto. Yeah, I'm gonna tell this story. So I was the #1 rep in the nation, right, at my former company, Centos. So we had it was like a quarterly meeting or training at our location in Lawrenceville. My manager comes to me after the meeting and was like, Dynas, the VP told me that you don't seem engaged. I'm just like, what? Told me that I don't seem engaged. Number one rep in the country. I don't seem engaged. I wasn't engaged. I had another homeboy, been at the company now almost, he's been at the company now probably 13, 14 years. He hit President's Club. He interviews for a manager role at a location. They tell him that they did not give him the role because he wasn't energetic enough. I'm like, come on now. How petty can we be? But to continue to accept this treatment, what does that say about you? Again, for you to continue to accept this type of treatment, what does that say about you? I dipped. I said, you know what? I'm out. Shut it. I'm dead serious. Guys, I'm dead serious. Told him he wasn't energetic enough. So they gave the position to a younger rep that's only been there for a year. I had to get up out of there. So that's the point I'm trying to make, you guys. If you're in corporate America, if you're in the entertainment industry and it's driving you crazy to the point where you're thinking about committing suicide or snorting dope or injecting dope, it's time for you to go. I don't care what your rent bill is. I don't care what your mortgage is. I don't care what your power bill is. It's time for you to move on and not blame white supremacy. Because I know white supremacy isn't forcing you to show up to that job every day that is driving you crazy to the point where you want to snort dope or inject dope.
Brother, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you very much for allowing me on. Brandon told me that you were on. He said, man, you gotta hop on because of the discussion right now.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. So, my name's Kevin Parkinson. I'm a filmmaker. I live out here in Phoenix, Arizona. Last month, August 10th, I was laid off from a full-time videographer role at a very, very big company. We made steel plates for armored vests, and we were pretty much the number one company in the state for that, for the tactical gear realm, and top 5 in the country, top 10 in the world. And the video ads that I made single-handedly helped generate over $2 million of revenue per month. So I've been doing this for the last 10 months, and single-handedly the videos, the ads, the storyboards, everything I executed myself has been generating millions and millions of dollars. On the 10th of August, I was brought into the back room, and I was told, hey, Kevin, we love you. You're a great guy. But effective immediately, we're dissolving the videographer position, and you no longer are employed here. Please turn in your laptop and exit the premises. I said, like that? I said, what? I said, you got to be kidding me. And they're like, no, we're serious. I said, look, does this have anything to do with my character as a man? They said, no. I said, well, does it have anything to do with my job performance? They said, no, Kevin, you're one of the most valuable assets we have on the marketing team. I said, well, then who else is getting terminated? HR said, Kevin, we're sorry, we can't tell you that. I said, well, this doesn't make any sense then. This is supposed to be a Christian company, and I separate spirituality or religion from business. I'm a business owner myself, but we stand on having integrity and being a godly company that centers on a male demographic. What about this is masculine? What about this is integral? coming in. Brother, can you still hear me? I had a call coming in. Sorry about that.
Get back online. I hear you now. Go ahead. Get back online.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so with that, I said, what about this is integral? How long have you known that I was going to lose my job? They said, last week we decided. I said, well, Monday we had a huge board meeting, and I gave the rundown for the entire month of August about all the videos that we were doing, all the ad campaigns we were running. Why did you have me do that just to bring me in here on a Tuesday and let me go? I know the answer to all these questions, but I'm putting them on the hot seat. So, like, this is ridiculous. This isn't how you treat somebody who you claim to be valued. But again, it's business, and we got to take the emotion out of it. I have to remember that I'm the only black male on the marketing team. I'm the only black person in the office outside of warehouse. Guys, the operation is warehouse and front office. That's it. In the front office, you have marketing. In the front office, you have research and development. In the front office, you have HR. In the front office, you have the president and CEO. Every other employee is a warehouse worker. And this is a hot warehouse in the Arizona heat. And, I mean, they do their best to accommodate their warehouse workers. I'm not saying the company is, like, evil. It's not like Amazon conditions. But I'm the only black male who's working for the company who does not work in a warehouse. And boom, Kevin, you were great. You're amazing. You brought our products to another forefront. We've sold millions of dollars thanks to your videos and the YouTube algorithms that you helped us create. See you later. That was it. So for the last 3 weeks, it's been like a twilight zone. I'm 34 years old, and I've never been unemployed in my life. I didn't know how to feel. But a feeling of freedom came over me that I haven't felt in so long. And I'm in no rush to go get another job. So right now I'm pushing my DVDs. I have 2 movies out, 2 feature films that I produced through my production company. They're streaming well, and I'm just putting all my attention in. I saw Brandon yesterday. I was in Long Beach visiting my aunt, and I saw Brandon yesterday. I said, bro, I don't want to go back to work. I want to work for myself. And we laughed about it. And I said, you know, maybe it was God himself who took my job away from me. Because, brother, to be honest with you, I told my girlfriend about 2 weeks before I got terminated. I said fired. In my mind, I got fired. In their mind, you weren't fired, Kevin. Your role was dissolved. It's the same thing to me. I told her in a text message. I still have the text on my phone. I said, baby, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Now, I'm not mad at work, I'm not angry at work, but every time I get to the office and put my foot out of the door, I loathe going inside. Something's off. Something's not right here. Of course, there's the ostracization you feel for just being a black person or a black creative, and that being as rare as it is. But I knew something was off. But I know myself, and I don't think me being a responsible adult, I would have had the tenacity to have been like, you know what, I'm going to Kentucky. I'm just quitting. This has happened to me once before. I was working full-time in ministry as a media director at a very big church here in Arizona. Had a great time doing that, serving the Lord, serving people, but, man, I got burned out. And I remember I took a part-time job at Costco and just did full-time work as a freelance videographer around the city, and that was fun. I did that for about a year. Then I got offered a full-time job as a professor at a university here in Arizona. And I kind of found myself back in the rat race. I was like, how did I do that? How did that happen? And then from there, I accepted a job with the tactical gear company paying much more money. And I'm like, how did I get even deeper back into the rat race? What am I doing? And now I'm out again. And I have no desire to run back. None whatsoever. I'm going to make these movies work. I'm getting ready to work on my next movie. Brother, if it's okay with you, I'd love to do a shameless plug and let everybody know where they can watch my movie for free, only if it's okay with you. Yes, sir. The name of my film is Noxious, Noxious, and I also have a sequel called Noxious 2. Both of them are streaming on Tubi, which is the Fox streaming platform. You can watch it completely for free. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch them both for free. It mean everything to me if you guys went out and supported the movie. They're great films. I highly recommend skipping the first one and watching the second one. I'm a much better filmmaker than I did the second one. And, yeah, man, I'm just really excited and grateful.
Hey, so Brandon said you could kind of go in deep in regards to what really goes on in Hollywood, especially from a black perspective.
Yes, sir. I'm going to be the first one to tell you. I have absolutely no desire in my body to ever win an Academy Award, to ever win a Daytime Emmy, to be anywhere in the 10-mile radius from the city that I am from, known as Hollywood in Los Angeles. I want nothing to do with it. I was blessed as a kid to get internships and jobs working Fox, and I got a chance to see so much about what the real Hollywood system is like. So at 19 years old, I was working on a reality show called Give Me My Reality Show for the now defunct channel called the Fox Reality Channel. And with the Fox Reality Channel, we were doing a show called Give Me My Reality Show, which were a bunch of B-list celebrities competing for their own reality show. Whoever won the show got their own reality show spinoff. And my God, I'm 19, and when you grow up in Los Angeles, you understand that Hollywood is Tinseltown and it's fake, but to actually see how make-believe it is and how people are literally projecting a persona on cue, on purpose, it irritated me. Because I'm like, this isn't anything I don't know, but to see it in the flesh was painstakingly crazy to me. And I was like, this is kind of cringe. I couldn't do this. So I was very grateful for that opportunity. Then I realized, coming up in the internet era, that I had more power than these actors do. There's a young man who's was on a popular show called Everybody Hates Chris, and the young guy was a star of the show, not saying his name, all respect to him. I've never met the brother. God bless him. I've never met him. But there was a gospel artist who, by the name of Seda K, and she had a song out that she wanted a music video for off the album. So I got an opportunity to direct the video for the album. Brother, when I tell you I put my all into this with no money, no budget, and that's not a diss to her, it's just there was no pay for this. I was doing it really for the experience, and because at the time I was working for a Christian magazine. I flew out to Charlotte, North Carolina, met up with my friend Greg, who's a cinematographer. We hired a ballerina to dance for us. We shot a whole storyline about her breaking her foot and recovering and the amazingness of God's glory. Shot this awesome video. Sadie K is friends with kids from Everybody, I don't want to be rude, from the young man from Everybody Hates Chris. He also shot a music video for her, same album. That video is just them on a creek in the Hollywood Hills singing a song to God and a little storyline of a guy in a house arguing with his wife. My music video has dancing, boxing, gym, working out, multiple locations. We shot in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we shot in Hollywood. And Sadie K's label, our manager, they pushed his music video more, and it was so lackluster, simple, lazy. I don't know. I'm not trying to be rude. But I realized they pushed it because they could put his name on the video. But the video that we did was huge, humongous, and it really didn't get the notoriety that it deserved. And I'm starting to realize and notice, hold up, these cats in Hollywood, they have a name, and that name can be a brand, but there's actually no power here because they also were limited in what they could show in the video. Whereas with me, the videos I do, the movies I make, I can do anything, say anything because I'm self-funded, I'm independent. So it started to dawn on me, I don't want to go to Hollywood because I'm limited there. Extremely a lot of limited. There's nothing there that is going to be fun. So now all movies that I make are non-union. So if an actor is in the AFTA or the SAG, Screen Actors Guild union, I'm like, respect and power to you, but I don't really necessarily want to work with them because I can't afford the day rates. However, the benefit is my independent movie, I completely own it. My independent movie, I can find a distributor and get it streaming worldwide. My independent movie, I collect the revenue from. So there's a lot of power in being independent and staying out of Hollywood as a creative. I hire people who do CG and people who do compositing and effects and makeup, and I always try to make sure I hire a black person. I'm not going to just say a person of color. I intentionally try to hire black people, and it's amazing because there's so much political stuff that happens in Hollywood that even prevents that. And sometimes it's not racism, sometimes it's just nepotism. But man, I'm realizing how much power I have as a young filmmaker outside of the Hollywood system.
Let's go ahead and get Brandon in here. Hold on one second. All right, go ahead, Brandon.
Yes,
Brandon, I gotta ask, man, it sucks. I have to leave in like 10 minutes. I have to meet somebody for lunch, but I wish it would go longer. We might have to do a part 2, but go ahead, Brandon.
You definitely got to get this brother on because he has a lot of wealth of information. He has a wealth of information. Kev, I just got to ask the basic questions, man. One, like with the guy Michael K. Williams, what do you think? Why do you think so many black actors and actresses turn to drugs? Like, why is it like this culture of drug use, especially among our people when it comes to being in Hollywood? Is that like a coping mechanism or what?
Okay, so I know we only have about 8 minutes. I'll make this real quick. Did any of you guys watch the show on HBO that he was in, Lovecraft Country?
Yeah.
I watch it.
In that show, Michael K. Williams plays a closeted gay man in the 1950s, or 1960s, I'm sorry. And there are intense scenes of him having gay sex. From my perspective, that brother was heterosexual in his real life. But in order to secure the bag, as we say now in our contemporary American society, brother had to probably say, okay, I'll take a role as a closeted gay man. Okay, I'll kiss him. Okay, we can do a scene where I'm having intense sex with him. Now, when you go home at night, after the cameras are gone, after the assistant director is patting you on your shoulder saying, you're so brave, you're doing a great job, and you have to sit with yourself in your apartment or in your house and think about, I did a scene of gay sex that will last forever, and that's not who I am in real life. Maybe I don't even agree with the lifestyle. And no disrespect to any of our brothers and sisters who are homosexual. I think sometimes the drugs help ease it. When I was working for Fox, we did a reality show called Give Me My Reality Show Awards. So this was like the last internship I held for Fox. I was like 20 when we did it. And I remember at the reality show, Dog the Bounty Hunter was invited. And this was the same year he got in trouble for calling his daughter-in-law the N-word. And while there was this white guy who was a writer working at Fox and specifically on this award show. And he was a really cool guy, and I knew him from the reality show we were working on beforehand. And he was always full of energy. This white boy was always optimistic, always full of energy, always cracking jokes. And he worked like 18-hour days. I would go home and come back to set, and he was still there in the same place, writing on the computer, turning scripts for the day. And I asked him, I said, I'll never forget this as long as I live. I said, bro, how do you do it, man? How do you get all this energy? Because I was always known for being optimistic, upbeat, and full of energy. So I'm like, bro, how do you do it, man? He's like, hey, honestly, Kevin, it's cocaine. And I sat there and I looked at him and I was waiting for him to laugh and say, just kidding. He turned around, got on his laptop, and went back to work. He never broke character and never said, I'm joking. And I was like, all right, I don't want nothing to do with this place. I'm out of here. I got to go. This isn't it. He's dead serious. He's literally on cocaine. Not crack, so he's, he's special. It's not crack, it's cocaine. It's not that bad. That's the perception.
So are these dudes like, is the casting couch, people getting bent over for movie roles, is that really real when it comes to men? Because we know it's true with the females, Harvey Weinstein and all that. But with the men, are these men really, doing sex acts to secure roles, even if they're not gay, like basically gay for pay or gay for a movie role?
I'm gonna answer that with a question. Is there a difference between having gay sex for a movie role and committing an act of fictional gay sex on camera any different for a movie role?
Not really. That's a good question. If you'll do it on camera
So
faking it, you'll do it in real life.
the point that I'm making, right? Because what did Jesus say? As a man is in his heart, he is in his mind, right? So
Right.
the idea is, even though, from my perspective, what I've seen, there is no more, hey, you gotta do something strange for some change. Like, what is happening to the R. Kelly trial with that young man? That's like crazy. But that's I'm from Chicago and I don't have any way out, so I thought this was an appropriate thing to do type of thing. I don't think in literally Hollywood that's happening anymore, especially after Me Too. But it is happening in a way. It's like, all right, bro. Like look at Common. Common, great rapper, very prolific, but he takes some very corny roles in Hollywood. He does the most corny stuff. It's almost the same thing. Hey, Common, don't get you in a movie, but your contract says you have to do 3 shows talking about black people in America on ABC. You're going to narrate it. And basically the script is going to say, things were bad for black people, but things are great now. And Common, probably being an intelligent brother, he knows this isn't real, but he has to do it to get the next role. So the idea of the casting couch symbolically is still there. No, we're not literally having sex with you. You're not getting sodomized while we do a seance to the Lucifer. But you're going to do something really weird on camera for this movie. There's so many times you see sex scenes in Hollywood now, and it has nothing to do with the storyline. Like, bro, you really had to write this in here. Like when Jaden Smith did that series on Netflix a few years ago, and then he had the gay kiss scene with a white guy. That was very unnecessary to the storyline completely. It had nothing to do with the storyline. But it was in there. And I'm like, why? Why? But then I think about his father and how team follows leadership. And Will Smith did 8 Degrees of Separation, and he did
6
a gay
degrees.
scene.
That
And they could have told that story. 6 Degrees. They could have told that story without Will Smith having a scene. So I'm like,
most black people never saw that movie. First of all, most black people never saw 6 Degrees of Separation.
Right.
And full-fledged Will Smith bent over, bro. Will Smith bent over by a white dude. But this is my last question. Do you think that because Hollywood is kind of a meritocracy, like a what have you done for me lately? Do you think it kind of like pushes black people deeper and deeper into things that they may or may not consider immoral? Like Michael K. Williams kind of always plays these little gay roles, and it seems like he just gets deeper and deeper into it. Because I remember doing Hard Time with Boris Kodjoe, right? Michael K. Williams was in that. But it's always like he plays these like gay characters. Do you think that like it's kind of like porn in a way where like now you got to do more for the same money, or do more for, you know what I mean? You got to go push the envelope a little bit more.
A bit of it, I think, is what do you call it? Buck breaking. I think a little bit of it is buck breaking, and here's why. Michael K. Williams has a knife scar on his face, right? I don't know the complete story as to where he got it from, but I believe the brother was in the streets and he got that scar from some street stuff. That's an extremely masculine scar to walk around with on your face. So when we saw that brother as Omar in The Wire, we knew this was the definition of masculinity, and we know black male masculinity is like the forefront of masculinity for masculinity worldwide. So how fascinating would it be to show him in compromising situations with other men? It means that he, too, is also conquerable. So there's like fantasy that I think casting directors are trying to evoke to certain audience members that, hey, even the most masculine of the masculine.
These guys get bent over, too. See, you thought they were so tough, but look, we got them. Hey, okay, last thing. You got to tell them about my movie role in the new movie.
Okay, so real quick, I want Brandon to be featured in my next film. It's going to be called Valley of the Queens. He's going to play a pharaoh, and the movie's going to take place on another planet. We don't see black people in space in real life or even in movies. So I'm making it a fact that this next movie that I do has brothers in space. Because why all these white people want to get off the planet? What do they know we don't know?
Right.
I want to inspire the next generation of young black people to say, I want to study aeronautics because I want to build a spaceship to be able to get my people onto the moon or onto Mars also. There's way too much information available right on Google for us not to be interested in space travel as well.
I'm going to be ready. All right, Dynast, thanks for having me on. Thanks, Kev.
Oh, my bad.
Thank you both. Thank you both. Please support the new movie Noxious 2, now streaming on Amazon Prime and Tubi.
Hey, Kevin, I have you back on too. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, and subscribe. Sorry, I got to run. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.